I will not stop using my voice.
Next at 11, Nikki Haley dropping out of the race for the White House, setting up a rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. See the latest results from Super Tuesday.
Tonight's results are an endorsement of continuing to do things that we have done together over the last 4 years.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria advances to the November election. Learn about the second place finisher competing against him.
Protesters interrupting a Senate candidate's victory speech. The latest on the race for California's Senate seat.
And looking outside, you'd never believe there's rain on the way. As I zoom out, you see it. It's coming to San Diego, but when and how much, I'll let you know. CBS 8 News Live in 11 starts right now.
Last week, my mother, a first-generation immigrant, got to vote for her daughter for president. Only in America. I am filled with the gratitude for the outpouring of support we've received from all across our great country. But the time has now come to suspend my campaign.
Nikki Haley right there officially dropping out of the race for the White House. She made that announcement just this morning following former President Donald Trump's decisive victory during the Super Tuesday primaries.
Haley did not endorse the former president. She said Trump has to earn the votes now and instead wished good luck to whoever wins the White House in November. Americans could be feeling a sense of deja vu here today. It looks like President Joe Biden will be in a rematch with Trump now. Thanks for being here on the CW today, everyone. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Netta Irampur. Glad you're with us here. And we are following the very latest in the national, state, and local races as these new results keep coming in from yesterday's elections. So the former president and the current president both scoring multiple victories in Republican and Democratic primaries. That includes here in California. So you'll take a look right here. This would be the California GOP primary results with Donald Trump getting 79%. Just about 1.1 million of the vote versus Nikki Haley at 18%.
For the Democrats, President Joe Biden with a commanding lead, cementing his party's spot as the official nominee, 89%, and Marianne Williamson at just 3%. Here at home, we are covering all of the major races, and we have team coverage for you. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live at the Registrar of Voters office. They're covering turnout and District 4's election.
And you see Chris Groh, he's live in Chula Vista right now reporting on key races for the South Bay.
First, let's get to Kelly Hessedall live in Mission Valley with the latest on the race for San Diego Mayor. Kelly.
That's right, and I spoke to Mayor Todd Gloria and candidate Larry Turner today. In fact, Mayor Gloria is here right now in Mission Valley for a ribbon cutting here for the new River Park. Now, I talked to Turner and Kearney Mesa, and both are looking ahead to November. However, now that it appears this race is set, a lawsuit challenging Turner's residency, that is back in the spotlight.
There's nothing to it. I live in San Diego. I lived in San Diego then. So, this is just one of those little tricks that they're going to keep pulling for the next 8 months. They just try to trick the voters because the voters, if they really get out and look around and smell around, they know that the city needs change, so they got to trick you.
And so last month, the judge said, let's let Turner remain on the ballot for the primary and just see if he even advances to November. And now that it appears he is headed to a runoff with Mayor Todd Gloria, this all comes back into play. Now, the lawsuit alleges Turner did not live in San Diego full time for the required 30 days before he filed papers in December to run for mayor, that he switched his voting registration to downtown San Diego to his campaign manager's address in July of 2023, and then filed paperwork in December saying he lived in Ocean Beach, but that it wasn't allegedly his primary residence. Now, Turner says this is just dirty politics at play. He says this is Mayor Gloria's people who are behind this. The mayor disputes this. Here's what he told me.
I have no involvement in that. I don't see that as helpful in the campaign. I mean, we are focused on my record and explaining that to San Diegans. And when San Diegans hear what I've done over the last 4 years under the most difficult of circumstances, they will support my reelection. So whatever those external efforts are, I have no connection with them. I have no involvement with it, and I'm not paying any attention to it.
Now, a court date has been set for March 29th. Now, Turner says it's possible the judge could throw out this lawsuit altogether, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, if it turns out that Turner is not eligible to run in November, then his spot would go to the third place candidate, which at this point appears to be Genevieve Jones-Wright. But for the latest on election results, let's turn now to my colleague Chris Groh, who joins us live from Chula Vista. Chris?
And right now we are also covering the very key race here in Chula Vista, and that being for District 4, that has been vacated by Andrea Cardenas. Now, she was vacated that seat in her resignation, but she still remains on the ballot. In fact, taking about third place as of right now. Now, the person who's in first, that would be Cesar Fernandez, school board trustee, as well as a teacher here in Chula Vista, pretty much going on now to the general election as he stands there in first place, had this to say about the recent shakeup with District 4 in Chula Vista.
The results, like I said, for us are really strong, and we're super excited about it. And it does show that Southwest Chula Vista wants to change. They're tired of business as usual, and they want to move on. And we don't even have a council member right now. So every day that we don't have somebody in that seat, that's a lost opportunity for Southwest Chula Vista.
And so you can see on your screen right there, the vote count as it stands at this moment. Cesar Fernandez sitting there with 1,126 votes. Rudy Ramirez in second place, with 1,015. And there in third, Andrea Cardenas, the former city council member who it was too late at the time of her resignation and the legal charges that she eventually pled guilty to 2 charges. It was too late to take her off the ballot. She has 930 votes, 85 off that second place finish. So it remains to be seen whether or not she will actually slide into that second spot and then be on the ballot in November. Now, another key race that we had our eyes on, the City of Chula Vista City Attorney. Now, this was a very key race in large part because of what happened here in the city of Chula Vista when you actually had a candidate who unfortunately died just before Election Day. Simon Silva was elected. There was a special election. None of the candidates received more than 50% of the vote. So now you have this runoff between Bart Miesfeld and Marco Verdugo. Marco Verdugo does have a commanding lead at the end here of this first day. Now that Election Day is over, we spoke with Verdugo, who had this to say about what he would do if he is indeed declared the winner.
There's been instances of corruption, of conflicts at City Hall, and I think I've proposed a comprehensive anti-corruption plan to help deal with these issues and make sure that we can restore trust, restore accountability, and so that all of our residents have representation that they believe in.
Now, one of our crews is speaking with Rudy Ramirez, who again right now is in second place for that District 4 seat. But for more on the other District 4 in the city of San Diego, a very key race, we have Regina Yurita, who is live talking a little bit more about what the results are showing at this moment. Regina?
Yeah, that's correct. And I'm right outside of the Registrar of Voters office. A very different picture compared to what we were looking at yesterday. But really, so many people voted here and also for District 4. So I actually have a couple numbers there to show you who is in lead and who will be representing or who might be representing the people for District 4. So let's get to those numbers because the people have kind of voted already. The numbers show Henry Foster III taking a clear majority of the vote. So not only is he taking a big lead, but he also has more than 50% of the votes. Chida Warren Darby in second with 27% of voter support, and in third is Tylisa Sewsbury. So you can see the direction of which many of the voters chose to go with. Of course, we're still waiting to get updated results, and these are all unofficial election results. Now, to give you some background, Foster serves as the Chief of Staff for County Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp. Montgomery Stepp was actually the former District 4 council member, but the seat has been vacant ever since she was elected as a supervisor. And that's been part of the issue, especially because areas like Encanto, Mountain View, mostly southeastern San Diego, have been left without a representative since December. And it couldn't come at a worse time because many of these communities are the ones who were hit the hardest during the January 22nd storm. So last night, as unofficial results started to trickle in, Foster addressed his voters at the podium during his campaign party. He even called out the lack of representation at the council level. Take a listen.
I'm just really looking forward to getting back to work and being there for my community and my family to make sure that we are at the table and that we get what we deserve.
And so Foster says he will be working closely with the city clerk to be sworn into the city council after that certification takes place. Of course, the Register of Voters has 30 days to certify these election results. And of course, as you just heard Foster saying, this is something that the communities like southeastern San Diego need, especially because of the lack of representation that they've known very well. That is the latest outside of the Register office. I'll send things back to you guys.
Ooh, a lot of close races and important ones, of course, that affect your day-to-day. And now to Measure A, this would allow the Office of the City Auditor to hire independent lawyers who are not part of the City Attorney Office. This would happen if the City Attorney's Office were to be the subject of its own legal investigation. So you see right here, 66% or almost 100,000 people voted yes on this, with 34%, about 50,000 people voting no on Measure A. Let's show you Prop 1, though. Oh yeah, this one extremely close. At this point, just 14,000 points apart. So obviously every vote matters, as you see right here, with 50% saying yes, 50% saying no. This is the $6 billion behavioral health services program and bond measure, which would make changes to the current Mental Health Services Act. Supporters say this will help build out voluntary housing and reprioritize resources for people with the most need. Opponents say they would do the opposite and divert funding from mental health resources to government-financed housing.
Welcome to the California comeback. I want to thank...
Republican Steve Garvey and Democrat Adam Schiff are now the top two finishers in California's Senate race. You just heard those protesters. They were interrupting Schiff's primary victory speech last night, calling for a ceasefire in Israel and Gaza. Schiff, a current representative, and Garvey, the former pro-Dodger and Padres player, will now move on to the November ballot. The winner will hold the office from November to January to finish out Feinstein's term, and here are the results for that. Steve Garvey in the lead, 35% to 31% right now, and whoever wins the regular election in November will assume office for a full 6-year term afterwards. And this is the result for that. A bit of a switch there. Schiff in the lead at 33% over Garvey's 32%.
And be sure you stay with us here at CBS 8 for the very latest on California's primary results. We have updates on all of the races. You can always see it here on the air, but also our website, cbs8.com/elections.
We are also following the numbers in the countdown for the rain to arrive here. You were thinking sometime this afternoon, right?
This afternoon. You step outside and the sun's shining. You can have your lunch outdoors. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because things are going to change
Okay.
for your commute this afternoon. Yeah. So I think for a lot of students, for example, the teachers were worried. Are we going to have to stay indoors? No. Have at it. Enjoy the outdoors. But you see all that green that's right there? That's coming our way. It's just been kind of slowly hanging off the coast. So as you see the bigger picture here, you can almost see that counterclockwise motion. That's an area of low pressure along with a cold front that will change things up for us. This afternoon, temperatures will just be in the mid-60s. With that sunshine, though, it still feels pretty good. In the shade, of course, it does feel a little chillier. Let's take you hourly. So from now until noon, 1, 2 o'clock, we're dry. Here we are at 3 o'clock. North County, you'll get it first. The coast as well. It's coming in from the north and from the west. So as it moves through, you'll start to see it become a bit more widespread through 5, 6. Here we are at 7 o'clock, where we'll continue to see that rain, and we could see thunderstorms with this one. I'll explain how much rain we could get out of this and how long it'll last coming up.